Hey guys, MaxLPQueen here, and welcome to another dungeon run-through. This is my run-through of the Grotto of Lost Souls. And, this one's pretty tricky, I'm not gonna lie.
Your lives finally have a purpose. Through your sacrifice, the Federation's corruption ends.
You'll never get away with this.
Alright, so there's our first little cutscene there. So, I did a run-through of all of the little red quests, well, most of them at least, that I could run through on my gunner, because I managed to get the gear up on her a little bit more. And I thought that since I had such a great person here, Ming there, such a great person helping me out, telling me, hey, I'm gonna run you through all these dungeons. I'm gonna carry you, because, you know what, if you want to get them done, I can run through them with you. No problem. So I went ahead and I run through all these dungeons, well, most of them that I could on my quest line, and I thought I would record them and show you guys basically how to do them, pretty much, or in the case of myself, how not to do them and how to do them the wrong way, because I haven't run through these dungeons before. In some cases, like the older ones like Village Sanctuary or Broken Prison or things like that, ones that have been around before but now they're not around, and then they came back and now they're here, like back probably 2 or 3 years ago. That was like the first time that I'd ever ran through, that was the first time that I'd ever run through those dungeons. So I ran through them again, this quest line, this new quest line, quote new, that I put in for level 65s, and that was probably like the second time I'd run through those. But I've never run through Grotto of Lost Souls once, and you can obviously tell. You're going to be able to tell by me going through this dungeon how I literally know nothing about it. But like I said, Ming was super nice and told everyone, hey, I'm running through the dungeon, this is my first time, so, you know, cut me some slack and also let me get through the quest line, which actually is kind of annoying, because when they don't let you get through the quest line, you have to run through the dungeon again, which isn't a bad thing. Obviously, the more you can run through the dungeons, the better you're going to get at them. But for this one, actually, it is a two-parter. Not for you, but for me. I had to go through and record the dungeon twice, because when we got to the last boss, someone had already did part of the quest line that I was supposed to do, and so I wasn't able to finish the quest line, of course. So I had to run through this dungeon twice, and in both instances, I still did terrible. So yeah, just go ahead and just get ready. But I mean, I can try to read through some of the mechanics on Essential Mana, but like I've been talking about through some previous run-throughs, I can read through the mechanics of what to do for you guys, but if you're not seeing it at the same time as I'm reading through it, it's not going to make too much sense, because I can talk about a swipe simple one-hit attack. If you're not seeing him do it, you're not going to know what's what. That's why the Essential Mana website is good to help you out there. So I'll try to leave those in the description, the website there, so you can read through the mechanics as you're watching me go through the dungeon, so you can know what to do and then avoid what I'm doing, because if I die, then obviously I'm not doing something right. So the only thing that this says here, I'm just going to read this here in the beginning. It says, take note. This BAM type does not actually show up much in the game. You might be familiar with it from the Channel Works dungeon though. The basic attacks are more or less the same. So what I like to say with a lot of these bosses is, if you fought them before, if you fought them like in leveling when you were lower level, or if you fought them previously, if they were like big BAMs, because I think these guys here are also on the Island of Dawn. They're BAMs that you could fight as well. So if you fought them there, you're gonna know what to do, pretty much, because the mechanics, the simple mechanics, are all the same. It's the special mechanics that kind of confuse everyone. As you can see there, Ming being the best person ever, you know, sticking up for me, saying, hey, let her do her thing because she's running through the quest line. So, you know, be nice. Which some people didn't pay attention to, of course, but whatever. It also said the room will either be surrounded in a purple or green aura on the last boss. Once in a while, flowers will drop down from the sky. Just know that getting hit by the flower explosion will swap your debuff after all the flowers are dropped. You need to have a debuff that matches with the color of the room. So, I mean, I can tell you all that stuff, but in the end, is it really going to matter? Because honestly, honestly, you're going to have to read through it anyway, and you're going to have to do it yourself. So, oh, and I was just letting Ming know, yeah, being the true pro that Ming is, and being like, hey, I'm helping you out, tell them to stay where they are and let me watch the cutscenes and do my thing. Like, I got you, bro. I was like, yeah, I know you got me. I'm a girl, but I know you got me. 50-50 chance, right? Yeah, 50-50 chance? Yeah. So we're kind of joking around a little bit before we start the boss, because I think we had to wait on someone, actually. But other than that, we're ready to go. That's why when we run through it the second time, I was kind of like a little bit happier, because this group of people was kind of casual, and we talked a lot and joked around. So, yeah. The second group kind of got down to business and got things done. So we're on the second boss now. And, he's got some key mechanics that I can run through, I guess. So, I'm going to run through the key mechanics, if I can, before we defeat the boss, so that I can help you out there. Maybe if you see them on the screen, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But, so they're statues, because they're the most important part of the fight, apparently, these statues. There's 3 statues in the room. Bloody Statue, Radiant, and Curse. And each one of them does an attack that puts their own debuff on the first one that it hits. The goal is to get all 3 of them on the boss, so that all you have to do is you don't get hit by it, and then you run to the other side of the boss where the AoE is coming from. After the statue's done their thing, the boss will do a mechanic and deal a percentage based on the damage of the party, depending how many are not on him. So depending on how many debuffs are on the boss, or the players, the boss will do different attacks during these times. So if all of them are on the boss, he's going to be stunned for a short duration, and he won't do anything if he's stunned. If like 0 or 1 is on a player, 30% HP damage to everyone, and applying a bleeding stack and a power-up boost buff on the boss. If 2 players are hit by it, does 50% damage to everyone, 2 stacks of bleeding, and a power-up buff on the boss. And then if 3 players, 100% HP damage to everyone. This ignores the shield, so you just wipe. So basically, that's why the statues are pretty important, I guess. Because if you get hit, if everybody gets hit by them, you're all gonna wipe. So be careful with that, I guess. Now, you may notice the conditions were written in a particular way on the screen here. What I'm reading through, it says that it's because you can destroy the statues with a break wave attack, and this will remove the debuffs from the player and the boss. And it also degrades the mechanics to a lower tier, and you can save the wipe this way so that you don't wipe. But you can never upgrade it to a full stun. That requires 3 on the boss and just 0 on the players. So the bleed stacks last 10 minutes, and they do 2% of your max damage per second for every stack that you do. It gets removed whenever you die though, so when you fail the mechanic several times in a row, you might want to take turns dying to make it easier on the healer. This is normal mode, so the statues can only do in-out AoEs above 50% on the boss's HP. But in hard mode, he'll do 2 statues at the same time, below 50%. So just beware if you are doing this in hard mode, but for us, we don't have to worry about that because we're in normal mode. So while the statues are doing the expanding attack, the boss is going to do a mechanic, and then the next one will be on the list will be like an in or an out. See, that's what I don't understand, is because I can read through this for you guys, but if you're not seeing it at the same time as I'm reading it, are you really going to understand what's going on? That's kind of where I'm like iffy on this whole run through thing, because I know people want to see me run through the dungeons for either a guide for themselves or just to see me run through on my character, just to see me run through them, I guess. But if you're using me as a guide to this, good luck. Honestly, that's what I gotta say, because I do this casually. Okay, I'm doing this like it's fun. Okay, it's fun for me to run through the dungeons and look like a complete doorknob while doing it because I don't know the mechanics, and I don't particularly find it to be like not annoying, should I say? I don't know how to say it. Basically what I'm trying to say is I run through the dungeons because I want to. I just thought you guys might want to see it too, because people ask me all the time, can you run through so-and-so dungeon on your gunner, or can you do this dungeon on your brawler, or can you do yada 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 on your different characters? So I just assume that you want to see it just because you want to see me fail at it, basically. Not to get a guide or anything like that, but if you do get a guide for it, good for you. Good on you. If you do understand any of the stuff I'm reading through, or if you are able to read through and watch me at the same time and know what to do and get a guide from it, that's even better, in my opinion. So, I was watching the cutscene, as you know, and by watching the cutscene, I actually missed out on my opportunity to finish the quest line. So, we're going to skip through here, and we're going to actually go to the part where I get into the dungeon, and we actually start the boss. Because I managed to finally do it and get it going right, and we're actually able to continue the boss. But this is with a different party, so if you're wondering why everybody's different, it's because we're with a different party. But I wanted to show you guys a full run through of the dungeon. So I got my quest done. Don't worry, I managed to do it. There was like a little thing that was in this area here that I was supposed to destroy in order to move the quest line along, and somebody had already destroyed it before I got through there because I was watching the cutscene. So I just decided to run through again, and I managed to actually destroy it. I think it was called like a teleporter or something. And I destroyed it so that I got finished with the quest line and was able to continue on with the boss. So this is my second run through of this dungeon, but it is with the final boss, which is Kylos or Kilos. I don't know how to say his name, but basically this boss is much like the Argog, where it has 3 phases in hard mode and then 2 in normal mode. The awakened phase in normal mode will start at 70%, while the hard mode phase, awakening, is at 80%, and awakening 2 will be at 30%. The boss will do room-wide silencing attacks whenever the phase starts. So hard mode and normal mode are obviously both different. The first awakening phase, or first awakening, is phase 2 start. Second awakening, phase 3 start. They actually have some videos here on Essential Mana to show you what each of these phases are going to look like. So it's very informative for you, okay? So if you're not understanding how to do the boss from me doing it, then you can definitely go through and read the mechanics. Though I'll try to, like I said, I'll try to remember to put it in the description to help you out. But that's it. I mean, you can see this guy's going down pretty quick. My second party that I had with this dungeon they knew exactly what they were doing, so it didn't take long at all to defeat this guy. And that was it. That was the dungeon. We actually completed it pretty quickly. So even if I was going to read through all of the mechanics, it would have took me a really, really, really long time to do that. That's it for the Grotto of Lost Souls. As you can see here, we are finishing up the cutscene. I hate that they have that Vanguard Initiative thing on the screen and it doesn't go away. It just gets on my nerves. But anyway, that's it for my run through of the Grotto of Lost Souls. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one, or whatever else we're doing.